everybody. I'm Katie.
I'm Becky, and this is Live, Laugh, Lorcana. The boys are back. The boys are back.
That's such a good choice of song for this show.
Thank you. Long time no talkie. What's good?
A lot has changed, honestly, since our last podcast.
That's true.
For you, specifically.
Yeah, I'm moving up in the world.
Official DLC caster.
Crazy.
That happened.
Sure did. We went to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about your Toronto experience?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I think everyone's more interested in yours. Do you want to start with
We'll just get yours out of the way.
That's fair. That's fair. If you want to hear about Becky's casting, you have to listen to me. Yes, I went to Toronto. I was fairly unprepared for the event. I was playing Emerald Steel, but if you guys remember my Emerald Steel version from set 3, it was basically that. The low to the ground, Emerald version. And the only cards I even had from set 4 were the baby Pegasus, and we don't talk about Bruno. That was the only change from my set 3 deck. But I played it, and it was a lot of fun. And my husband played Sapphire Steel, and we both played in the main challenge.
My husband came as well. He really wanted a Lorcana hat, so he played some sealed, and he didn't get enough for the hat. So he wanted to play constructed, and he didn't have a deck. So I had a deck in my stuff. It was just a little aggro Amber Amethyst deck that I had brought to League one day. And so he played that, and he didn't win it at all, but it was enough for him to get the Lorcana hat, and he was very excited.
Was it participation tickets is how?
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Well, I saw your husband yesterday, and he was wearing the hat.
Loves the hat, so very exciting.
Tremendous success.
Yeah, so I didn't get to play much or at all because I was casting.
Yeah. So how was that?
I don't know. I was humbled and honored to be asked. And I kind of felt like it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I felt like I should take it. And I did. And I prepped a lot for it. I know I was hired to be a magical caster. But I really tried to focus on learning more of the analytic role because I wanted to say intelligent things. Because I felt like a lot of people felt like that might be missing in Toronto.
Yeah, the cast for Toronto was you, Rebecca, Liam, and Tannen. Mm-hmm. Liam, of course, possibly the most underrated player ever, because he has this channel that's this is our family, we talk about art. So Liam's a sleeper amazing player. I mean, he won the freaking Glimmer Gauntlet. He's such a good player, but I do think people maybe overlook that just because of the channel that he does.
Yeah, I feel like Rebecca and I are also kind of shoehorned in as being casual.
Famously casual players, to be honest. You both market yourself as casual players.
Yes. But I mean, Rebecca knows everything, especially about this current meta. I mean, she's casted it so many times. She knows everything.
Yeah.
And I crammed. Well, that's the thing where people are like, we need people that know the meta. I'm going to tell you something crazy, Katie. It's all there on the internet. Anybody can read about it and learn it. It's right there.
It's true. That's true. I mean, that's how I know what's going on. It's Forbidden Mountain, Podcana, watching all these things. Because, I don't go to that many, big competitions. I know what's going on because of internet resources.
Yeah. So, but because of that, though, I think I lost the pun thing.
Yes. Twitter MVP Carolyn always, keeps track of the casters' puns and ranks them throughout the weekend. That's great fun. You didn't lose. I mean, you weren't last.
I was for Toronto.
I think you were above Tannen, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. Tannen beat me.
Oh, well, okay, that's a little embarrassing. Just kidding.
Puns aren't my humor. No, well, I was just, honestly, though, I was so in my head all weekend. And I kept feeling like I wasn't doing what I needed to be doing. And it was a lot. And I think I got better as the weekend went on. And I think if it was something that, like, I stuck to and I continued with and I really, you know, whatever, I think I'd be okay at it. But I, like, legit, in between rounds, I was, like, embarrassed to be around people, because, like, even though nobody was there was, like, watching it, because, you know, they were competing,
they're playing, yeah,
and people kept being like, how's it going? And I'm like, I don't know.
That's I mean, I couldn't watch it either, so I had actually sent our parents a text. I'm like, hey, are you guys watching Becky today? Like, let me know if you don't know how to do that. But they figured it out on their own. Good for them. But my dad kept telling me we were doing great. So people kept asking me, how's Becky doing? And I'm like, my dad says she's doing great.
They were so sweet. Dad texted me that he was, like, so proud of me and that I was doing such an amazing job, and Mom did as well. She's like, I can't believe you're doing that. And even because my in-laws were with my kids, and I guess because somebody was streaming it on YouTube, they pulled it up. And even my mother-in-law was like, you sounded so good. I didn't know what you were saying, but you sounded so good.
That's what our parents said, too. They're like, I didn't know what she was talking about.
Me neither.
Untrue. False information.
Yeah. Well, I listened to it after, like, directly after, and I've already blocked it all out. But, how did you...
You did? You listened to it?
I did.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if I would have been able to if it were me.
Well, it's kind of interesting because when you're there, you kind of, maybe this is just me, but it's kind of like an out of body sort of thing. And, like, I don't recall what happened at all until I listen back.
Well, even when I do podcasts, like when I've been on the Illuminateers, all these things, like I've tried to listen back, and the first time I open my mouth, I'm like, oh my God, you're such an idiot. And I just turn it off and I can't listen to myself. That's probably a mental issue that we need to address. But, no, I thought you sounded great. I have only listened to maybe 3 or 4 games. I'm really bad at finding time to watch things. It's always been a problem with consuming content. But everything I listened to sounded great. I know during the event, I finished one round really early, and then I went and listened to you and Rebecca for a while on day 1, and I loved you and Rebecca casting together. I'm like, this is fun. This is a vibe. Probably one of my favorite games that I've listened to. I just was like, I would love to have this on the background. It's super fun.
Yeah, I think it just depends what you're looking for. There's that's the fun thing about having so many different casters with different perspectives. 5 different voices, you know? So, we'll see. Oh, but the other cool thing about me casting in Toronto is I'm pregnant.
Yay! What does that have to do with casting in Toronto?
Well, I just thought it was kind of neat because it's kind of like a stereotypically dude thing, and I'm pregnant with a girl, and I was casting as a pregnant person. And
Aw, that's cute.
I don't know. I'm sure other women have casted pregnant before, but I haven't, and I thought it was neat.
Yeah, that is cool. I was especially worried about you doing this because you were having really bad morning sickness up until like a few weeks before Toronto.
Honestly, up till like a week before Toronto. Yeah, any content you see me in July, I am fighting for my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being pregnant is not easy. First trimester, so I hear.
That's also why I've not been in a lot of content.
You went to Chicago as a attendee.
Yeah.
How did the attendee versus casting experience? Like, which did you prefer?
So Cody was there as an attendee in Toronto, and TBH, he seemed like he was having a fantastic time. And I'm not saying I didn't have a good time, but I'm saying I felt stressed.
You were working. I was having fun, and you were working.
Cody was having fun. There was a Philippines festival across the street. He's over there partying, and like he had a lot of fun. Yeah, I was working. And I don't travel often, so there's kind of like a It would have been nice to just kind of hang out. Yeah. Not have as much, not be stressed for a nice little trip.
Yeah.
I don't know. Attendee, I highly recommend anybody do Attendee, even if you can't be a competitor. It's a ton of fun. Just do it. It's great.
I also had a ton of fun in the main event. I talked to a lot of cool people. I played a lot of games. I played a lot of women. I should have kept track, but I think I played 3 or 4 women out of the 9 rounds in the main event. So
we had our first woman qualifier.
I know, that was so exciting, Judy, and she was on stream.
Yes.
Really
I casted
good games.
one of her matches.
Yeah, I did watch that one.
Very skillful. I know we're not supposed to like root for anybody, but I was rooting for Judy.
Of course we're rooting for Judy. Go, Judy!
Go, Judy! Yeah. It was good.
So I can talk about the main event a little in addition to who I played.
Do it.
So the main event, like, you get points in 2-game format, and those points you can exchange for tickets at the end of the main event. So it's like, I actually looked it up. 10 main event points is 6 tickets, 20 points is 14 tickets, and 30 points is 20 tickets. And 20 tickets is enough for the Cinderella and Rapunzel promos. One's 20 and one is 18. So if you get 20, you can definitely get one of those promos. So going into this, my goal was for me and my husband both to get 30 main event points, which is 20 tickets, so we could get both promos. That was the goal. About halfway through the event, I'm like, well, that's not going to be happening. It's not looking good. But I talked to Zach Bivens. He assured me that I could do it, and he was right. I did end up getting him.
You got to talk to Zach Bivens?
I did.
I never get to talk to Zach Bivens.
And he was about to say my name, but you could tell he was stressing, and I'm like, Katie, because he didn't want to mix it up again. The number of times I was called Becky this weekend is crazy. And, like, people apologize. I don't care. Like, Becky's wonderful. Like,
yeah,
what a compliment to mix me up with Becky.
I've been called much worse than Katie, let me tell you.
Exactly. So, yeah, so many people either called me Becky or asked, which one are you? Which is, I think they said it nicer than that.
Which one are you?
Lifeline Lorcana. But yeah. And then once I got called Katie from Lore Keepers Inn, another flattering mistake.
Oh yeah, you guys both have dark hair and bangs and are named Katie.
Katie and I have so much in common, actually. But I did end up getting the 20 tickets, as did my husband Josh. So we got our 2 promos, which is exciting.
That is exciting.
But the one thing I wanted to talk to you about is the last round and conceding games, because you know how 2-game format works. It's like a win is 3 points, and then if you win both games, it's an additional point for 7. So I'm going into the last round with 26 points, right? So winning 1 game, 3 points, gets me to 29, and I need 30. And the way matchmaking works, my opponent is in the same boat, like 26 points. So if we go 1-1, neither of us gets the 20 tickets. But if one of us goes 2-0, obviously that person then gets the 30 tickets. So going in, my mindset was that if I lost game 1, I was going to concede game 2. Because one of us should get the 30 points, right? I didn't say anything to that effect. But I did win game 1, and my opponent immediately conceded to me. He's like, yeah, it doesn't do any good for us to go to 1-1. So take the 2-0. He conceded game 2, which I thought was very nice. But I heard people around me explicitly making this deal where they like sat down and were like, hey, this is a situation, so let's agree whoever wins game 1, like the other person concedes game 2. That is not allowed. So just everyone should just know that's not allowed. I even reached out to Joe about it to like confirm. I'm like, I didn't think this was allowed. And yeah, he confirmed it's 100% not allowed to ask someone to concede a game. How do you feel about the concession thing in the last round? Would you concede if you were in that like 26-point situation? Yeah,
I would definitely do what you did or what your opponent would have done. Might as well. I think that's nice.
It is. I mean, it might as well not ruin the points. But I just wanted to tell this one story because Josh was in the same situation. So he was playing his opponent, and unlike me, he went to a different approach where he said, hey, we're both in this situation, just so you know. So if you win game 1, I'm going to concede to you for game 2, which I also talked to Joe about and is technically allowed. You're allowed to say, by the way, this is what I'm going to do because you're not asking for anything. But it is up to judge discretion. So I would say it's probably safer not to.
Yeah.
But it is technically allowed. But my husband said this to an opponent, and she's like, we're not allowed to talk about that. And he's like, I'm not asking you to talk about anything. I'm just letting you know this is what I'm going to do. And she was very uncomfortable with the conversation. But yeah, they just moved on. And my husband won game 1. She did not concede, which is totally your right to play it out. No problem with that at all. Zero problem with that. And then my husband went on to win game 2. So it was a moot point because he won both. But she was talking to him after the fact. And at an event one time, some guy was like to her son, like, just so you know, like, if you win game 1, I'm going to concede to you game 2. And he didn't. So, like, he lied. He did not concede game 2. So now she's just, like, done with that. And I think that's fair.
I think that's fair, too.
Don't tell someone you're going to concede game 2 if they win and then don't. That's really, like, scummy. Don't do that.
Super rude. Especially to children. I think we should just be a little nicer to kids.
Mm-hmm. So you had something to talk about was similar to concessions, intentional splits.
Splitsies! Everybody's doing splitsies. Everyone's like, 2GF, no splitsies. 2GF on a big scale, lots of splitsies. For featured matches in the last round, we had to go to like table 16 before we found people who had not splitsied.
That's so wild.
I know.
I don't think that's necessarily limited to 2-game format, because that was pretty common. That's common in, like, Pokemon and Magic as well. Like, you get to a point where you're so far ahead of the competition, the best thing you can do is just take intentional splits to keep your placement.
Splitsies! Yeah, we've had the intentional draw discussion before. It's all good. It's all not good. Everyone has an opinion on it. I don't know how it's fixed. Does it matter? I don't know.
I mean, the only game I feel like that doesn't have that problem is the one I came from, Flesh and Blood. Why? Because draws count as losses.
I guess that's...
So you get 0 points for that intentional split.
I guess that's the only way around it, really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but, like, also on these huge tournaments, the bubble's enormous. Gigantic bubble.
Like, for those people who don't make day 2?
Yeah.
It is. It is a gigantic bubble. I am surprised they don't do more games of Swiss and then cut to top 8, which is what a lot of other games do.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't really get the... I don't know. I don't know if the top 64 is that much more exciting.
And having single elimination that far out is kind of, like, brutal.
Yeah, I could see that. Although people on the bubble still get the card.
That is nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I remembered something about casting.
Ooh, go.
So I felt like okay when I was talking about the matches and stuff and narrating what was going on and saying things. But I'm really bad at the transition thing. Where it's just like, what do you talk about? And they like tell you what to talk about. And like, I don't know, I was really bad at that. Where we talk about the prizing or we talk about the
bracket.
The bracket. Really struggled talking about things.
That's interesting because I didn't notice that when I was watching, because I did watch you do some of that. And I thought you did a good job. I struggle with transitions in real life. It's one of my bigger conversational flaws. Yeah,
I just kind of want to jump in. Yeah, I don't do transitions well. I also breathe through my nose too much.
Honestly, my only criticism of watching you.
He kept telling me not to.
The breath sounds. Yeah.
I can't help it. It's how I breathe.
Gotta practice. Gotta get one of those mics in.
I didn't know that was something I would have to practice, so I didn't ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Turns out I can't do it. Well, especially when you're focused on so many things, you're not thinking about your breathing. And nobody that I read said anything explicitly mean about me, so that's a success.
Yeah, I know. Most of the mean stuff I saw was general
That's
for
fine.
the whole cast.
We're all in this together. Just don't single me out.
Your second High School Musical reference this show.
Aww. Where's Caroline? Are you writing this down?
Does she count High School Musical references? That's Disney, after all.
We're not supposed to make references to things that aren't in the game.
Like not Pocahontas?
Well, that's the thing, because people are like, is that a tease? Is that a hint? What's next? And you're not supposed to.
Oh, that's why you're not supposed to. That's funny.
Yeah. And I also listened back to some stuff, and there's a lot of references, or there's a lot of things that were said where I'm like, I could have set that up as a Disney reference, but I didn't. What can you do?
It wasn't your top priority, but it will be next time. You know what I think is interesting about your casting?
What?
I've known you a really long time, however old you are, 30-something. And it's very rare that I've seen you really try at something.
So real.
And you really worked for casting. Like, you were like studying, you were practicing, you were doing all the things. And I was really proud of you. I just don't really I haven't seen that from you that much in that many things. And it was awesome. Good job.
Thanks. Yeah, trying's not really something I do very often.
Yeah, now that I've said it, I feel like it's a backhanded compliment.
No, it's
but
real.
It's like, it's not. Like, it's just, not that many things spark that, like, motivation.
Right. And I've always kind of would rather, because I've been a coaster for most of my life, and, like, I would rather be at the top of the bottom than the bottom of the top, so I just, like, try to keep right there.
Like, yeah, like, you did not study in school.
No, and then by the time I was in college, I never learned how. And I had a lot of art classes, so I didn't require a lot of studying, and then I just still can't. But I did. I studied for casting.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I even feel bad saying, like, I feel weird saying that, because people are like, she worked, and that's where she landed. I don't know. It's hard.
No, they're not thinking that.
I don't know. And then, because I was trying to prove myself in some fashion, which I don't think I did, it was like I didn't do what I was hired to do.
You mean like being the more casual side?
Well, yeah, like I lost the pun contest, Katie.
Oh, no one hired you to win the pun contest. I hate to break that to you.
Thank God, because I did not.
They had a lot of practice, right? Like everybody else who was casting this had done 3 events prior.
It was funny because like I had notes about like the meta, and Rebecca had notes about like Disney facts and like different stuff she wanted to include. And I was just like, oh, that's what I was supposed to be doing. Yeah, I was really excited they put me with Rebecca because I didn't think they were going to.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they would either.
But I really wanted them to, and they did. And I thought that was fine.
I thought it was great. It was one of my favorite casts.
Thanks. Well, it was kind of funny. The first, like, because Rebecca and Liam opened the show on Saturday, and then they had me casting with everybody in, like, a rotation. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that was to my benefit.
No, I was concerned when I heard it. Because, like, you really, after your first one, you need to, like, step back and evaluate and kind of, like, think through, like, how you want to, like, I would have hated having to do the 3 in the row right off the bat.
The 3 in a row did not work for me. I definitely needed that break in between, and I didn't have it. And then, like, I think I casted with Liam first. And I did that match. And then I got feedback. And then immediately went into the next match where I was like, you need time to think about the feedback, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so whatever. I did it, and nobody died. It was a success in that manner.
Success. Our second woman official Disney Lorcana Challenge caster. Very exciting. Very exciting.
At least for North America, because their Italian squad.
Oh, their Italian squad is so good.
Yeah. For sure. The European squad is fantastic.
They are. They're quite good. I just wish that there was a little more diversity in it. But they do an amazing job.
They really do. They're excellent. So,
And everyone says those cameras are better.
Yeah. They just have a higher
didn't-
production something.
I guess I notice a little, but not hugely that the cameras are better.
I don't really notice any, and I was like casting and I didn't notice a difference. But I had it on a big screen that I could look at.
That's fair. Maybe that's why I don't notice. I have such a big screen at home, but
Yeah. It was fun. We all had a good time. Everybody went home with their promos and their hats. So now you have 2 Dragonfires.
Can I add one thing? My husband has been playing TCGs for 20 years. He's gone to a lot of like big events for various TCGs. So I asked him what was like the most unique thing about the Disney Lorcana Challenge that he maybe hadn't seen in other events. And what he said was the most unique was that he played a lot of women who cared about competitive. Like, either he played them or they were around him, because obviously most games are male dominated, and even like ones like Pokemon that have more women, I don't want to say they're not competitive, but my husband was just surprised that so many of the women he encountered would initiate conversations with him about the meta and be like talking about their deck, or like they would be like talking about coaching they received. Like they just seemed to like really, really care about competitive, and he hadn't seen that before in a game. And I thought that was interesting.
I hope that continues. I really need that to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is a great testament to the game that minority genders are feeling more confident and excited to get involved and pursue that avenue of gameplay.
I think so too.
Which begs the question, Katie, are you going to Las Vegas and or Seattle?
I don't know. I probably not Las Vegas, just because the idea of going to Las Vegas doesn't thrill me. I don't like gambling at all, so like that city just kind of. I've always wanted to go to Seattle. Like I just always have wanted to. So I'm definitely considering it. It's really tough because without Pixelborn, I just don't have a way to prepare for these tournaments. Like, I'm sorry, I don't. Like, I know a lot of people can prepare for a tournament without Pixelborn. I'm not one of them. So that's actually kind of my biggest hang up right now. So
I get that.
We'll see.
Are you interested in going to the North American Championships or perhaps Worlds?
Yeah, that's actually new news since our last podcast, as we found out the North American Championship was in Disneyland in January, and Worlds is in Disney World.
You've not been to Disneyland before.
I haven't.
Yeah. I've been once.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in going to the North American Championships in Disneyland. I've never been there, so it would definitely be fun. It's tough, like a Disneyland and a Disney World trip in a year is tough. Like Disney, I love Disney. I'm glad the events are in Disney, but like those trips tend to be more expensive trips. Like Disney tax, like everything is so expensive when you go to Disney. Yeah, I probably can't do both, so I do have to decide.
I will be too pregnant for either of those events.
Really? When is your baby due? February? You should be, you'll have a newborn, but you won't be pregnant for Worlds. Do you want to go to Worlds with the newborn?
Not really, no. I don't think so. Yeah, so those are out for me. That's fine. Disneyland, I'm going to say this, is just not as good as Disney World, and it's not close. Sorry.
Okay, so you don't think I should you don't think I should prioritize Disneyland because I've never been there? You think I should just do World?
I think you should definitely experience it, though. I mean, it has some benefits that Disney World doesn't. Like, the character greetings are, like, more casual. The lines are, like, it's like, Kennywood. Kennywood is a local amusement park that's, like, just adequate. It's, like, between Kennywood and Disney World. It's between there.
Okay.
I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but it just doesn't
you probably
magical.
are.
Well, Disney World has that, like, secret underground whatever, how they get people places, and, like, it's not like that in Disneyland. There's just random doors places, and the characters just come out of them. They don't just, like, come out of nowhere,
Well, one of the pros I hear about Disneyland is that the characters are just walking around.
Yeah. It's just a different experience. And I feel like it misses some of the magic because it's just a smaller park.
Makes sense.
What else is new? Anything?
I mean, we found out Pixar and Pocahontas are coming to Lorcana.
We did.
Which some people were surprised. I actually was not. Pixar is just a lot of people thought Pixar would come further down the line.
That's how I felt about it. I mean, we have so much Disney 2D left.
True.
But Pixar are their big things.
Yeah. And once I started bringing the from the cartoons, like DuckTales, I'm like, yeah, it's like Pixar's any minute.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. I'm glad they're including Pocahontas. I wasn't sure if they were going to or not. But I'm excited to see those cards.
Yeah, the omission was so long, I wondered if it was intentional because of the controversy around it.
Which are all legitimate.
All legitimate. Mm-hmm. It's tough because I see a lot on both sides about why people are so mad at that movie, but then also the side having some Native American representation for girls to look to is better than having none, even if it's imperfect. So there's a lot going on there. So I just wasn't sure if they wanted to get near it or not.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you just want to go into listener questions?
Sure. Well, Shimmering Skies came out. Do you have anything to say about that?
Oh yeah, Shimmering Skies came out. I thought I bought 2 boxes. I only bought 1. But I did get an Enchanted in a Trove. Vanellope Von Schweetz.
That's such a good... I freaking love Vanellope. You know that. I was so jealous when I saw that.
It's a really pretty card.
Even though I technically opened the most expensive Enchanted in the set, I opened the Snow White Warrior one, which is awesome. I just love Vanellope.
Yeah. Oh, I have the Snow White Enchanted from set 2. Can't have 2 Snow Whites.
That's fair. But yeah, I got 2 boxes, 2 troves. I got my mats like always. Oh, I get to extend my play mat collection.
I really like the Casita mat.
It's beautiful.
It's really, really nice. I like that one a lot. And I've been on the aggro train forever, and now everyone's like, Daisy Duck. Now I'm on the aggro train. And I was like, girl, I was here first. Get in the bag.
That's great. Great. I haven't decided what I'm going to build yet, but it will have emerald. That's the only thing I know for sure.
Love that. Love it. Should we do some listener questions?
Let's do it.
Martin Karp asks, what's y'all's thoughts on the Top Cut expansion for set champs? I love it.
Yes, because now the promos are going down to top 8 instead of just top 4.
I love it. I think that's great.
Wonderful. Yeah, it was such a feel bad for people when they would qualify for top 8 and then get dropped in the first round because top 8 is such a big accomplishment, especially for people who are newer to TCG. So yeah, let's do it.
But Katie, the value of my cardboard will go down.
It sure will. I do not care. I just the value of promos that competitive players are winning is not a huge concern for me. Yes, you can be mad at me. It's fine.
Agreed. Martin Karp asks, do y'all prefer the original Disney music or do you like the alt covers? Do you remember Disney Mania of the 2000s?
Yes, so much.
Yeah. Where they'd have the Disney Channel stars singing covers of them. And some of them were okay.
I like a lot of them.
I think this new, what's this new one called? This new CD? A Whole New Sound.
Oh, that's a good name.
Yeah. A Whole New Sound sounds like it's going to be great, and I will definitely listen to it. But I honestly just really like the OG originals of everything.
Yeah, I'm with you. I prefer the originals. I will say those alternates by Disney stars, the only place you hear them these days are when you're waiting for Fantasmic and Disney World, and I always enjoy hearing them.
That's where they live on. Well, do you remember? Is Radio Disney still a thing anymore?
Oh, I don't know. We used to listen to that a lot, AM 540.
AM 540. Is Radio Disney still on? No, they ceased broadcasting in 2021. Oh, I'm surprised it was that late. Jake of 40 Born asks, of all the Olympic sports, which would you have the best chance of qualifying?
None.
None of them's.
Breakdancing? No.
Katie. I mentioned race walking because it's just walking.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah.
You just speed walk, and you're supposed to keep one foot on the ground at all times, but nobody does. And everyone's just trying to not get called out on it. And it's silly.
That does sound really fun. I do want to do that. I used to try to run a lot, like marathons. I used to always watch the marathon qualifiers, but I know I could never do that.
No, and honestly, Katie, we're far too old to do any sport.
Fair.
Except maybe shooting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that.
I would be terrible at that. Aiming's not my thing. I also apparently don't work well under pressure, so. There's this thing on, I don't know, it's the Washington Post or something, where they had a thing where you put in your height and weight, and it tells you what kind of athlete you're built as in the Olympics. Mm-hmm. I'm a synchronized swimmer.
Ooh.
Too bad I'm scared of water. Not for me.
That's really going to get in your way.
Honestly. So, I remember when I was little, though, I always wanted to be a gymnast or a rhythmic gymnast or something.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
But here we are.
I'm ultimately going to steal your race walking answer.
We're just going to race walk. Cameron, Lorcana Curator, asks, who is your favorite Lorcana artist? Mine is Alice Pisoni. Who's yours?
Oh, I love Alice Pisoni. I will say Julia Riva.
Great answer as well.
It's hard not to say Nicholas Cole because he's definitely up there, but there's so many great artists in there.
There really are. Well, Alice Pisoni did the art for our first reveals.
Oh, I remember.
But also she has so many iconic arts in the game. Mm-hmm. I just love her.
Yeah.
She's an angel.
So many good answers, really.
No bad answers. And Cameron also asks, what was your favorite Disney show as a kid? So we did not get Disney Channel until we were older, 8 or 9 or whatever. I don't really, because we didn't watch DuckTales and stuff. That wasn't on when we had Disney Channel. We were more of the DCOM, Disney Channel Original Movie fans.
Oh, yeah.
But I struggle to even remember what was on.
For show-wise?
Yeah.
I don't remember watching a lot of the cartoons. I remember...
Kim Possible! That's my answer.
Oh, Kim Possible's a good one. What else was on?
Proud Family.
Yeah. I remember Recess.
Even Stevens. Phil the Future. These aren't animated, but... Oh, That's So Raven. Lizzie McGuire.
That's So Raven was probably mine.
Love
That's So Raven. I should pick a cartoon answer.
Yeah, my answer is not a cartoon. It is definitely That's So Raven.
We love that show, yeah.
Yeah. I also really liked Even Stevens. Oh, Phil the Future.
So good. All good. There was a race walking plot in one Phil of the Future episode.
A throwback. It's all coming together. Kim Possible, probably my favorite cartoon on Disney.
Yeah, I think so too.
Is she going to be in Lorcana?
That'd be awesome.
Rufus.
Oh, that'd be cool. Have you watched the That's So Raven reboot?
I did. I watched the first season of it.
Really?
I did.
Did you like it?
Not really. Okay. I love Raven, though. Raven Simone, she's fantastic. And also Annalise Vanderpool is fantastic, but then they kicked her off the show, so it was what's the point?
Why?
I don't remember. Money? I don't know. I just saw that on Instagram Reels. But she's so talented, Annalise Vanderpool.
Yeah, for sure. I really want to go watch the show now and also dig up the drama.
Love it. And Cameron asks, is it obvious that I'm trying to spam questions to get the pod back? No, I thought you were genuinely interested.
Did you?
No.
I'm sure he is genuinely interested, honestly. But also...
He's just a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Cameron also asks, where's your favorite cheeseburger chain?
Vegetarian. Becky, what is your answer to this question?
I'm vegetarian. The only like fast food chain that has a vegetarian burger is Burger King. But none of the Burger Kings around us are real Burger Kings. They're all franchises and they're all disgusting.
True.
So I like Wendy's fries. Katie?
I'm gonna go Five Guys. I think honestly has one of the better burgers.
They do have a very good burger. And their fries are also excellent. So good answer.
Wendy's fries are good.
Wendy's fries are good. Wendy's burgers were good too. Are good. But honestly, if McDonald's ever gets a plant-based burger, they have a McPlant burger in the UK. And if they get a McPlant burger in America, and I could put that McPlant burger on a Big Mac, I will be eating that pretty much every day for the rest of my life.
Nice.
Big Macs are the best burger, period.
Yeah, I had to have my first one at the age of like 33 or something.
Did you like
it?
it?
Talking about how great it was.
How would you never had a Big Mac?
I don't know. It's just like a really big sandwich. I'm like, I don't know that I want all that going on.
It's got the secret sauce, lettuce, pickles, sesame seed bun. What?
You know that I err on the side of very, very plain, bland food. Yeah. Like, my favorite burger is plain.
I thought of a great anecdote for Toronto about food.
Hit us.
Okay, so, past Becky, a real mensch, she got breakfast for my husband and I every day, prepaid. So we ordered food, and they had these breakfast potatoes, guys. I don't know if you ate the breakfast potatoes at Dual Citizen at the Sheraton Center, Toronto, but they were amazing. And I was telling my baby group about them. I'm like, guys, these potatoes, I can't stop thinking about them. And they're like, girl, why don't you just call and ask for the recipe? I'm like, is that something people do? So I emailed the Sheraton. Well, because the girls were like, you gotta ask and let us know. We want the recipe too. So I contacted the Sheraton and I was like, I'm pregnant. Give me your potato recipe. And they're like, congrats on your baby. We'll go inquire. And then the executive chef of the Sheraton Town Center, Toronto, sent me his breakfast potato recipe. So if you want it, I'll email it to you. DM me. I'll hook you up.
I will say I read that recipe and it was way too ambitious for me.
Yeah, you have to steam the potatoes and then you have to saute the potatoes and then you have to roast the potatoes.
Too many steps.
It's a lot of work. But they're very good. I might try just for funsies. But they were excellent. Anyway, next question. Martin Karp asks, what's something Disney you collect other than Lorcana? For my wife and I, it's pins. And yes, that's a 5-gallon tote with shoe boxes and loose pins alike. Ooh, big collection. We love it. Katie.
TCGs actually go against my instinct, which is I usually don't collect things. I'm not like a hoarder. I'm not like a person who likes to obtain things in general. So.
Forager.
I will answer on behalf of our father, who buys still every single Disney movie that comes out on DVD. He buys them
Blu-ray.
all. Blu-ray now. First it was VHS, then he started replacing the VHS with DVDs. Now they're Blu-rays. I don't know. We've already told you before, there's a sign-out system. Becky's not allowed to sign things out.
I don't need to. I have Disney Plus now.
Yeah, right? I'm like, I'm just going to have Disney Plus for the rest of my life. I don't need to own any of that stuff.
So I am not much of a collector either. My husband's a collector. He likes, oh God. You know what? He has influenced me in this fashion. You know those little gotcha bags? The little bags of, you don't know what's inside.
Mm-hmm.
He loves those. And there's billions. And there's lots of Disney ones. And so I have quite a few Disney keychains because of it.
Yeah, I have 2 attached to my bag that you bought me. Well, you got me one and Caitlin got me one.
I love them. And then also, if you've seen my background when I'm on shows that aren't this show, I do have a little collection of Disney tunes, which I bought over a summer.
I was going to bring that up if you didn't remember, because it's always in your background, yeah.
Yeah, and when I'm in Disney World, I buy pins, but I don't go very often.
Same. I buy 1 or 2 every trip, just as a way to remember the trip, but I wouldn't say I collect them.
Yeah, I am. My husband's a big collector. He's a Star Wars collector. We have a lot of stuff.
Oh, magnets though. Again, every trip I go on, I try to get a magnet. So like if you look at my fridge, it's like magnets. So like I will get at least one Disney magnet every time I go on a trip there. I got some cool ones the last trip. I got like there was one from Expedition Everest that was like, I don't know, Yeti School or something. That was really cool. And we got one from Star Wars and just some different fun ones.
That's fun. Because usually I just get the standard Disney World. And then
They don't make, I used to do that. They don't make the magnets anymore for the year. They only have pins for the year. So it's forced me to get some interesting magnets.
Did you get magnets when you were in Toronto?
I did, yeah. And got one when I stopped at Niagara Falls on the way.
Yeah, we stopped at Niagara Falls because it's literally on the way back from Toronto. We literally just looked at the falls for 5 minutes and then went to a store and bought a magnet and then left.
That's what we did. I mean, we like spun some stops in Pokemon Go, but yeah, that's
that's all. That's funny. Yeah, and I also got a Toronto magnet. So, success.
Yes.
And that was our listener questions.
Woo.
Katie, do you have a featured creator?
We certainly do. Our featured creator is the Lorcana Muses, an awesome Lorcana podcast by Stephanie and Brittany. You'll see a lot of parallels with the Lorcana Muses and Live Laugh Lorcana because Stephanie and Brittany are women, Disney adults, and Stephanie is more of a casual player where Brittany is more interested in competitive. So if you are ever feeling like you're missing Live Laugh Lorcana, go listen to them. I love listening to their journeys and their takes on things, and I know they're currently prepping for DLC Vegas, so it's a great time to get on board.
Be sure to check out the Lorcana Muses on Instagram, Twitter, and all of your favorite podcast platforms. Well, is that it, Katie? Is there anything else?
I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
When I first moved out of the house and I lived in an apartment and I got one of those boxes of like pots and pans and stuff, there was a thing in there. It was like a metal basket. And I was like, oh, cool, a colander. So I made my pasta and then I filled this little metal basket with holes with the hot pasta and pasta water. And I burned the crap out of my hands. Katie, it was a steamer basket. I had just never seen one before.
Wow. How are your hands?
I mean, it was like 11 years ago, so I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Okay. Good. You're covered.
Well, that's our show. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Twitter. We're on YouTube. It's just this, but on YouTube. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks for joining us. It's been a little bit of time since we've seen you or heard from you, and we missed you. And we love you.
We do love you. And until next time, remember to live, laugh, and lore.